But I met her. She was 175.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm used to 125 too.
Yeah.
She 5'6", 175, and she was the wrong color.
Right.
And I was used to.
My pastors are Reginald and Kelly Steele, the pastors of Kingdom of the Valley in Phoenix, Arizona.
You all remember the pastor's wife that was saying that she usually irons her husband's shirt. She will iron her husband's shirt and prepare him to go see the side chick. He's going to go for the weekend, go for days, and still come back. In fact, there's a time that the side chick even came to her. Like, you all remember the pastor's wife, Kelly, I think. There's another clip circulating, and I want to share with you all. He clearly said, because this time around, he's the one talking. He's the one talking. And he's saying that she was never his preference. He never liked her. She was an auntie. She was a senior to him. She's a grandma. Let me show you the video.
When I met her, she was one.
Don't take much.
Don't take much.
But I met her, she was 175.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm used to 125 too.
Yeah.
She 5'6", 175, and she was the wrong color.
Right.
And I was used to
That part.
So I'm like, man, you messing up my whole flow. Because I'm going to a predominantly Hispanic and black school.
Right.
She was at the white school in our
Right.
neighborhood, which I didn't go there because they didn't allow you to play quarterback. So I had to use my uncle's address to go to school in the hood. So
Right.
that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother
because
story.
that's back. We're both graduates of 1991.
Yet we still
So
ended
that's
up
back in the
together.
day. Yeah.
So we know there was a God thing, but
Yeah.
So you tell me, so what made you keep coming back to her? She's not your preference.
She lived down the street.
I would always feed him.
So you saying convenience?
Very much. 'Cause I
Listen.
lived 30. All my other girlfriends lived 30 minutes away. She lived about 3 minutes away.
Baby,
Regis sound terrible.
Man.
Regis is getting worse and worse.
But
and
baby.
worse and worse.
But I would always feed you.
She would feed me.
He always had a meal
Oh
ready.
man, listen.
I said, women, you got to feed him.
And she would give me money. She worked at Lane Bryant. I'm like, this girl's a senior in high school working at the mall. I'm like, and then again, when we would talk, we had chemistry.
We did.
She just wasn't my preference. And see, I got a lot of friends that are single right now.
Yep.
They're divorced, single. They want exotic.
Right.
I'm like, some of y'all need to get you an auntie.
That's right. That can make a
That's
business.
a whole different conversation.
She should be able to
so my
cook.
wife's like, baby, what is that supposed to mean? You saying I'm auntie? I said, baby, you an auntie.
That's all right. It's okay.
I said, you used to be
I
exotic.
used to be.
Well, you a grandma now.
I'm 52.
Even the other day I told her, I said, you auntie exotic.
Yes. That's right. I'll take it.
So even though you say that she's not your preference, clearly you're attracted to your wife.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely.
What are you attracted to?
First of all, she's beautiful. You know, I love her brains,
Yeah.
her mind. I'm attracted. That's the first thing I was attracted to. But then I had to pivot because she said it earlier. I was used to, heavier chest meat, if you will. You know what I'm saying?
Heavier chest meat.
Yeah. And then smaller in the other areas.
Yeah.
So I had to really pivot, you know what I'm saying?
To the opposite.
Yeah, to the opposite. And I made the adjustment. And I have for almost 35 years now.
Have you ever apologized to her for all the stuff you took her through?
Absolutely.
What was that moment like?
Man, I'll never forget. After I found out I wasn't going to prison, I got probation.
So I'm not
4
going to
years.
prison.
For 4
Which
years.
was the best thing because he had to stop smoking weed, couldn't drink.
And the judge even said, if you run a stop sign during these 4 years, he said, if you flunk one drug test, I'm putting you in prison for 4 years. And so I got set free that day.
Yeah.
John 8:32 says, and them that know the truth, and the truth will
Make you free.
And so a couple of months later, she was leading worship at my dad's church. It was Saturday morning practice.
Yep.
And the Lord instructed me to get a bucket of water and wash her feet and repent to her for what I put her through.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And he
Yeah.
did.
That's beautiful.
This is height of disrespect. I don't know how any other person is going to see this that don't see this as disrespect. This is disrespectful. I just feel like it's even better they shut up and just let you go. Even if you want to stay in that kind of marriage, you're supposed to tell it as a secret. I don't like, is it just me? But coming out and you're saying all of this and she's laughing, I saw a lady saying that she goes to that church, which we're going to watch this dish together as well. She says she goes to that church, and this is not the first time they say this to the church. Like, they're always proud of their marriage. In fact, they wrote a book. Let me show you the clip, then we'll come back and talk about it.
I'm used to 125 too.
Yeah.
She 5'6", 175, and she was the wrong color.
So what made you keep coming back to her? She's not your preference.
She lived down the street.
So you saying convenience?
Very much.
I would always feed you.
She would feed me.
I said, women, you gotta feed them.
And she would give me money.
This is why I warn women to never give a man a chance when he acts as if you're not his preference. When he goes out of his way to say, I don't usually like dark-skinned women. I don't usually like women with tattoos. I don't usually like plus-size women. I don't usually like women who have children. When he goes out of his way to make you feel like you're not his usual type, most of the time he'll never let you forget it. They will always use that to humiliate and to embarrass you. But this is the literal representation of what it looks like when a woman plays her own game of Survivor. Outplay, outlast, outwit. Now you're telling me you even outspent? You was giving the man money? This man is happier than a pig in slop, talking about all the hoops he made her jump through to show herself to be worthy. And truthfully, he probably still doesn't think she is. A man can smell desperation in a woman from a mile away. He doesn't keep coming back because he loves you and he misses you. He keeps coming back because you're the only one that would let him. You have successfully beat out the competition, but what did you really win? Because he's no prize. That man isn't testifying, he's bragging. And they're not laughing with you, they're laughing at you and to your face. That man wouldn't put up with 1/10 of what he put you through because he knows his worth.
My pastors are getting dragged on the internet right now.
My pastors are Reginald and Kelly Steele, the pastors of Kingdom of the Valley in Phoenix, Arizona, the church that God told me to go to when I first moved here. And I can tell you, from what you've seen on that podcast they did, that's exactly what they do at church. Let me explain. My very first Sunday there, God told me to go there. I did not want to go there. It had nothing to do with them. I just didn't want to go in the building. My very first impression of this ministry, he was preaching that Sunday, and he came out in the audience, and he comes down and he preaches on the floor. And he had made a couple comments and a couple jokes about his marriage and about his wife. Now, I didn't even know who his wife was. But then the lovely cameraman put the camera on her and put her on the big screen. And I was like, and she's just laughing and smiling. And I was so uncomfortable for her. That was one of the most cringiest moments I've ever seen in church. And what was more absurd was the fact that I am looking around and the people were laughing with him. Because they talk about their marriage all the time. And I was new. This is new to me. I don't find it funny. It was nothing funny about what he said. I had second, third, and fourth hand embarrassment for her, because there's no way that I would let you be on the mic, streaming on the internet in front of all these people and basically call me dumb or stupid for staying with you, or you was talking about how you was the man and you was stepping out on her. Like, they would say this, like, he would say comments like this all the time. He's so random with the disrespect towards Kelly, like, and I just be sitting there and my discernment be going off, and I be like, I'm like, God, I'm not going here. I'm not going here. I can't go here. Because why am I going here? And out of disobedience, I stopped going. God gave me specific instructions to be at this church, this, that, and what have you. And it was just little things that was happening. And I just be sitting there, and I promise you, everybody else just kind of be going with the flow. And I just be like, y'all don't feel this? Like, Y'all don't see this? God, why am I here? Now, these are not bad people, and I love their kids. They're all grown. They're active in the ministry. Like, but we're talking about this podcast and the things that he said. And I am telling you, as a person that goes to their church, these comments and stuff be said a lot. And as my first impression at that church on that day, I literally text my best friend and I was like, he's disrespecting his wife and his marriage in front of all these people, and people think it's funny. So this must be normal here. And I feel uncomfortable and I don't like this. And I just stopped going. And then I would sober up spiritually and then go back in obedience and end up not going again. And I just went. I didn't go today, but I went last week. And they preached together last week. And even in the midst of them preaching together, it was a couple comments in there. A couple of them. I catch them all the time because I be looking for them because they talk about their marriage and each other so much, especially him. And it's very uncomfortable for me. So watching that podcast was extremely uncomfortable for me. And then the fact that God told me to sit under their covering at that ministry. And I don't know how to feel about that because you can't tell me y'all prayed about going on that podcast, at least about what you were going to share. Because that couldn't have been wisdom to disclose the stuff that y'all disclosed on that podcast. I can't say that was wisdom to do. To each their own. This is your story. This is your testimony. But there's just some stuff you don't need to say. It's just some stuff that you need to take to the grave. Maybe use some discernment and when sharing certain things, because you saying that you are ironing his clothes so that he can go out with his mistress, that the girl came and checked you and you was the wife, that he would leave for days at a time and you would come back and ask him what he want to eat. Like, babe, listen, I love the Lord too. But no. And she then said this as a clip.
What would you say to the women that may be looking at this and saying, see, that's that nonsense they talking about?
Well, I would say that's why you're single still. Because I'm sure somebody had been in your life already.
You don't pick the fight. You don't.
And you didn't want to give the investment for that person to become somebody, and then you lost them probably a long time ago. And you should have just worked with them from the beginning and just worked out the kinks. And
baby, let me explain something to you. I'll take being single before being blatantly disrespected. Period. Ain't no way. I'd rather be single than to tell that kind of story. I'd rather be single than to tell that kind of story. I don't care how many years they've been together. The fact that just like bleeds out like as humor and stuff in church, when we're not even talking about that stuff, it just comes out. The disrespect just seeps out. Like it feels like just like bottled up resentment. And they take like little mini jabs at each other. More like him. Bringing up the disrespect. Bringing up the pain and the hurt. And then she's sitting there with a smile on her face. And laughing. And trying to play it off. But I'm an empath. Like, I'm like, nobody sees this. Nobody can feel this. So this is normal to y'all? I can't be. This is some Twilight type stuff. I'm not doing this. This is a Jordan Peele movie. Because ain't no way. They are getting dragged right now. And then they have a book that they wrote together on marriage. These are my pastors. This is the church that God told me to go to with specific instructions. And I have been extremely disobedient. I have not been going consistently. It's been very hard for me to go in the building sometimes. I'm going to be real honest with you. In making decisions like this and airing out all of that for the world to see, I don't know if that was wise. And saying, you know, fight for your marriage, I'm for that, but I'm not for the adultery. I'm not for the disrespect. I'm not for the abuse, the verbal abuse. Like,
now, I know everyone has seen this conversation that has been going on the Dear Future Wifey podcast. I made another video about it on my page like a few days ago, and I decided I wanted to go watch the full interview, and baby, it is taking me days because I cannot sit through this fucking buffoonery. The fact that every time they talk about something heinous that he has done to her, both the men start and she just sitting there like, yeah, he did that. Yeah, he was mean to me. He was so horrible to me. He's sitting there saying she was too big. She was not the right color. And she was cooking for him and giving him money while he was moving around messing with other women. At literally no point do they ever discuss anything this man has ever done for her to benefit her. I'm up to the point where not only did he only start exclusively messing with her because he almost went to jail. He was on probation. They were living in Section 8 housing. So while he was on probation, she decides this is the time for me to start having his kids. Yup. We're in poverty. I'm going to pop out his babies. So not only are they in Section 8, they're in poverty. This man is cheating on her. She's fighting random women left, right, and center, fighting a bunch of bitches about her husband. Her husband while she has young children. And it is at this point where she's like, you know what, it's too much, I'm gonna leave. And she said this is the point where she goes to walk out the door, and that's when Jesus spoke to her. And that is when Jesus spoke to her. And the whole time he is fighting her. Mind you, and this is something I want to address, right? A lot of times when people talk about, oh, your man be gone for days on end and he don't come home, they had children. So not only was he abandoning her for days on end where she's not hearing from him, he's also doing this to his children. I want us to all acknowledge that as a mother. How could you be okay with this man leaving you and your children because God told you it's okay, he gonna come around one day? And then, and this is something I want to talk to all the church people about that be calling stuff demonic. She said he would go to sleep and she would put holy oil on him and be casting spells is what I say. Casting spells is what I say, because you are literally at your wits end. I really feel like she had a psychotic break. And this man would leave her and her children in their Section 8 housing for days on end and come home whenever he felt like it, curse her out, call her out her name. And at one point he said, before she heard Jesus, when she was bleaching his clothes, he said, what did he say? Oh, like when she would bleach his clothes, she would not be there when she would do it or whatever. And he's like, she's lucky that I wasn't, or he would have put his hands on her. So I know for a fact he put his hands on her at some point. I had thought it before. I said, there's no way this man is doing all of these horrible things to this woman and not putting his hands on her. And then for him to say, she's lucky she was not home when I found out that she had bleached my clothes. He's like, just thinking about what happened to my cakes which make me mad. You was gonna put your hands on that lady for some K-Swiss? I saw another video from another creator that says that she goes to their church. I saw a video of her at church, at the pulpit, at the podium, telling women that they should not use, sex as a tool to get their husbands to do what they want to do, because he's going to go find it elsewhere. Well, you was sucking, fucking, and cooking and giving him money, and he was still finding it elsewhere. Now what? Now what? And then the host asked her, well, what would you say to women who say that you put up with too much or something of that sort? You know what she said? That's why y'all ain't got no man. That is why her life is what I envision anytime women use not having a man as an insult. I always say anybody can have a man. You just have to be a stupid bitch.
When somebody does something bad to you, I'm not saying everybody's perfect, but when someone does something wrong to you in the past and you forgive the person, you guys moved on, and probably things are better now, maybe you think, and probably there's a time that you guys need to talk about what happened and what the person did to you. If the person actually really felt bad for what they did, you will know. In fact, the person might not want to talk about it. There's not going to be laughing. You will see the way the person will hate themselves for treating you that way. I'm not saying that in this, pastor. I'm not saying that. It's a way like, I'm proud of what I did to you and I'll do it all over again. In fact, I'm still doing it, but you don't know. That's what it's giving. It's giving, I don't regret what I did to you. I did it to you because you deserve it, because you allow me to continue doing it, and I will continue doing it. In fact, people are saying that it looks like it's still cheating on her to date, and which I believe, because it's not sorry. It doesn't feel bad for what he did. He's proud of hurting her, of doing things, and she herself, she's proud. Imagine you saying that. Hey God, women that cannot invest in men like this will remain single. That is the thing. People feel like if you've not struggled with a man, if you've not endured gbasgbos with him, that is not love. People glorify struggle love to the extent that it's not a normal thing. That when you're struggling in a relationship, there is love in that relationship. Or there's a point whereby they'll start advising you or giving you faith and hope that there'll be a time whereby things will be better. There'll be a time whereby in that same relationship, there's no. He never liked her from the beginning. It was only with her because she was the one that was available for him. And that is it. She was just available. She was giving him everything. She was giving him her body, her time, her money, attention, everything. And she was close to him. She was giving him everything. She was giving him everything. That was why he married her or something, if that's it is. It's not because he liked her personally, like, oh, I really like her. It was maybe later on he can like her, but it was with her because of what he was getting from her. Because of what he was getting from her. And he's noticing that whatever I'm doing to this person, she's allowing me. This is a perfect person to marry. And that is why when they got married, even with all of that you saw before marrying, when you guys got married, it still continued. And now you are kind of giving like a testimony. Is this supposed to be like a testimony to tell people that, oh, you all too can also endure, because right now I'm enjoying my marriage. And the thing is, you guys, they say this in church, like they tell their people. And I was saying is that this kind of women, in the first video, I was saying that this kind of women will start advising women in the church and start telling them that when they come and tell them about their marital problem, they'll be like, you know what I endured with my husband? In fact, your own is small. Women will still keep suffering, all in the name of, I want to be a married woman. I want to still be called Mrs. I don't want to be single. I don't want to die alone. Because they don't want to be called, I'm a single woman with no man, they will endure rubbish. All in the name of maybe Christian wife, or how am I going to put it? I don't really have much to say because this whole podcasting is so annoying. And the fact that they're actually saying this, I feel like there's nothing that pisses me off than the way the guy is like, he's proud. That is pride. Like, he's a bad boy. When when group of guys are together and they're talking about how bad, like, you're a bad boy, oh, you have so many girlfriends, you're a bad boy. It's a pride, it's a proudful thing. That's exactly what it's saying. Like, I'm a bad boy, and I still have somebody that is dying for me, even after everything. I'm still. It doesn't feel bad, and I can bet it's still cheating on her. But they're not going to talk about that because they're a pastor. I don't know. You guys, what is your take on this conversation? Let's have conversation down in the comment section. Respectfully, as always, it's your girl Mara David, and thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please like and share and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.